Hello, everybody. We are the Wannabes podcast. I'm Morgan. That's Luke. And down there is Dreaded. Are you mimicking me, you fuckface?
I have no idea what you were talking
He
about.
was doing okay. I think it could have been better.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm over here just sitting here, letting you
vibing.
introduce the podcast.
Hey, look at that tree over there.
Nah, I cut the tree down.
Oh, did you? That's fucked up. I wanted to go see it.
It's okay. We'll smoke some trees later.
My man.
All right, everybody. So today we are diving into our movie review of none other than 28 years later. Buckle up, strapping, get ready for that discussion. But before we do, we have one specific news piece we want to talk about today. So, Dreaded, what was the news piece you found for us?
Hey guys, who likes Spider-Man? I want to say you better raise your hand.
I was putting down my drink, motherfucker. I need coffee to deal with y'all.
You can pick up a drink and raise your hand at the exact same time.
Yeah, I'm leaning on that hand.
I just got my hands on another piece of Maximum Carnage, the comic book
series
today.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, I'm in my Spider-Man shit right now.
I would say that you're in your Spider-Man era, but you've never left it.
No.
Honestly, I don't think there's ever a time anyone ever leaves their Spider-Man era. There's some eras you'll leave behind. You'll leave behind Sonic.
If you're Luke, I think he was just born into his Spider-Man era, and that's it.
I'm gonna change the poster. Next time it will be one of my Spider-Man posters hanging up. I'll do that. Deadpool's been up long enough. We can put Spider-Man up.
There you go. So anyway, we got more news on Spider-Man Brand New Day, the upcoming MCU film that will star Tom Holland. So last time we talked about this film, it was a possibility of Mark Ruffalo showing up in the film, reprising his role as the Hulk. Now we have 3 new confirmations on who's going to be in the film. One, we have our good friend Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned. So it's good to see him again. We've got the homie Zendaya. Hopefully she cleaned up from the drugs from Euphoria. And this is going to be the most interesting because Jon Bernthal will return as the Punisher. Wow. So first we had Charlie Cox. Isn't that his name, Cox?
Yeah, Daredevil.
Yes. Yeah, Charlie Cox is Daredevil in the last movie. Now we're getting Punisher? What is going on?
I'm just happy that they're sticking with Bernthal. I love Jon Bernthal as Punisher.
I like Jon Bernthal in general, actually. I like a few of his movies.
I really like a lot of his stuff.
I'm really a big fan of him in the Purge movies.
Luke is doing so good. I am proud of your constraint tonight.
So letting you guys get it out.
I know.
I'll get my chance.
It's okay. Are you good, Dreaded? Can he go?
Oh, let him just go. Let him
loose. Tonally speaking, I don't know what this means because the Punisher is definitely TVMA and Spider-Man is definitely PG-13. I like the idea of Jon Bernthal being in this, maybe as Frank Castle, not so much the Punisher because it wasn't Daredevil that we got, it was Matt Murdock. If he's gonna be the Punisher, it's not that I don't think it can work. I just don't want the watered down version, personally.
And that's fair. No, I actually agree with that.
If this ends up being like a darker Spider-Man, which I kind of want anyway, then yeah, I could see him fitting. But if this kind of has the same tone of Homecoming or Far From Home or something like that, then I don't know, it might be kind of wasted and it might be a weird call. Everybody else I'm cool with. We were just talking about this off camera. I'm glad that Jacob Batalon is back to play Ned because I want Hobgoblin. That's who Ned ends up becoming in the comics. He ends up becoming Hobgoblin. I want that shit to happen. I don't need the Green Goblin. I want Hobgoblin. Cool that Zendaya's back. I don't even know if they're gonna do Euphoria ever again since my man passed away. Like that's looking to be a bit of a hurdle that they got to fucking overcome. But yeah, Bernthal, he's fantastic and he's great as the Punisher. But I think having him in a PG-13 movie kind of takes away what makes him as the Punisher so great. For anybody that has seen Daredevil Born Again, he's fantastic in that too. But like, it does lend itself to the ultra violence that the character comes with. So it's an interesting choice. It makes me wonder if this is going to be a darker Spider-Man. If it is, awesome. But if we're going to kind of do the same thing, then I don't know. I feel like he'll be kind of wasted. So we'll see.
I do like to
Okay.
imagine the fact that ever since No Way Home happened, Peter done lost his aunt. He done lost everyone. Don't remember him. He is completely on his own. I could see this man being in a bad place.
Yeah, I could see
I am. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just
Sure.
saying, like, I want him mentally to, like, we've seen him kind of like go through a bit of like that dark period. Um, but I want honestly a little bit more of it. I want to see not necessarily him being like ultra depresso Spider-Man, but I want him to like step into like finding himself as like just who he is alone and being able to work through that. But I do want him to have the struggle with it too. I don't want it to be two-dimensional. I want that three-dimensional side to it where we get into the depth of his emotions and like the struggle of I know everything and everything about these people and they don't even recognize me anymore. I
Mm.
think there's a lot to play with there emotionally.
Tyler is correct. Punisher did debut in the Amazing Spider-Man comic, so yeah, I get that from that standpoint.
That's true.
um, but I want this Spider-Man film to be more about Spider-Man because you're right. He's in a place nobody knows who he is. It's like I mentioned it before. When writers come in and Peter's in a good place in the comics, they just kind of smack him back down to nothing because he works better as an
Yeah.
underdog. They've got him in a real good spot for that right now. So I don't want a Doctor Strange or an Iron Man or a real prominent MCU person to come in and kind of help him. I want him to actually do shit on his own. So the idea that Mark Ruffalo was going to be in this sounds cool, but if it ends up turning into that where he just leans on Bruce Banner to fucking figure shit out, I don't necessarily want that. I want this to
I
be a
don't want that
Spider-Man
crutch
movie.
for sure.
Yeah, and if Punisher is in there to enhance it via the tone or whatever, excellent. I'm cool with that. So, yeah, it's on paper, it sounds awesome because I'm pretty sure Bernthal and Holland auditioned together to get these fucking roles anyway. So this is huge. Let's go. I'm on board. But it does make me wonder where this is going to go then because of the tone of Punisher as opposed to Spider-Man.
All right. Other than that, I didn't have any other news, honestly, but we'll see where this goes.
It's been a little quiet. I can even say that even over on the tech side of things for my other show. Like it's been a weirdly quiet week so far.
They don't just have a vendetta against Peter being happy in the comics, they also old. He's always got to be like a teen or fucking in college or something. He can never get older than that. There's an interesting article that I just read with Donnie Cates, who is a prominent Venom writer, talking about how Marvel needs to kind of unclutch the pearls when it comes to something like that. Because the big appeal for like me as a reader of Spider-Man is that I got to kind of grow up with him, and now he's kind of in this holding pattern, and they don't really have Ultimate Spider-Man or anything like that where they can dabble with that aspect of the character. So that's just a little something extra to throw on top of what we were discussing.
I'll
No,
write it in.
I like it. I agree.
On the mark. Well, that is all we have for news.
Morgan, hit the button. Just...
All right, everybody. That means we are diving into our movie review. So once again, we are reviewing none other than 28 years later. So,
speaking of which, do you have the fucking lyrics or the words to that thing up on another screen? Because there's no fucking way you...
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
I really don't know what you're talking about right now.
Good for you for having that much of it down, though. But now I'm like, does he have that fucking thing sitting right next to him?
I don't... Wait, what's happening right now?
The stuff you're putting in chat.
I haven't typed in chat once.
You are... Listen, I have dealt with so many gaslighters in my day. I will not take it.
Dad, calm down.
I will not, sir.
Oh, actually, Luke,
that is cool though. It fits really well.
Luke,
yes.
You really missed out on a very interesting moment where Dreaded had to call his boss last week,
right.
during the show. Which
For what?
They wanted to take Wednesday. They wanted to take.
They?
I say they for everybody. I'm sorry. So Dreaded wanted to take off Wednesday, July 2nd, because the new Jurassic World movie comes out that day and wants to go see it. So on stream, they called me.
Oh, as his mom?
As my boss.
As his boss. So, yeah. Anyway, that's
awesome.
all. I just wanted to
That's fantastic.
Give a good chuckle and let you know about
Off, you
that.
guys.
It
There's
was
a clip.
entertaining.
I had a friend that would do that to get me out of school when I was in high school. It was the best. One of the best times of my life.
Oh, no. When they say called his boss, like, I was the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure.
Yeah, you post as his boss, yeah. She would post as my mom and call me out of school.
Definitely, you gotta watch the clip, Luke. It's in the clip
It's actually
somewhere.
really fucking funny.
By the
Anyway,
way, in that
all right.
instance, terrible fucking security. I'm sorry, real quick, terrible security. Like, all you had to do is know my birthday. That's it. That's it. And then they'd be like, "Oh, you sound so young," and then just let me out. Fucking terrible. All right, go ahead.
Public
I'm sorry.
schools. No. All right. So, as I was saying earlier, guys, we are getting into our movie review of 20 years later. Now, this follows 28 weeks later, which was what, 2010?
2007.
2007. And then we had
Been a minute.
2002 was the very first film, which was 28 days later. So,
Yes.
yeah, we're dealing with this franchise, y'all.
Wholly unexpected franchise, Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to dive right into it, get the box offices and all the number stuff out of the way. The budget for this film was $60 million, in case y'all didn't know. And in terms of box office, so in the United States and Canada, 28 years later was released alongside Elio and was expected to gross around $30 million in its opening weekend from 3,444 theaters, with some estimates going as high as $45 million. The film made $14 million on its first day, which included $5.8 million from Thursday night previews. It ended up debuting at $30 million US dollars, finishing second behind the holdover How to Train Your Dragon. It was great, go see it. And becoming the highest debut yet of the series. So, yeah. Right now, with its exact current number, just for like the most recent update, it is currently sitting at 66.5 million for its box
Sick.
office.
Sick.
And that was its like full like worldwide domestic.
Nicely done.
Yeah, so just for comparison, back in 2002, 28 days later, was a budget of 8 million. Box office was 82.8 million. 28 weeks later was a budget of 15 million, and the box office was 72.3 million US dollars. And just to reiterate that budget number, we went from 8 million to 15 million to now to 60 million, and then we're sitting at 66.5 million and climbing.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Any other production notes you got on this bad boy?
The biggest thing is, honestly, we already both mentioned it a little bit before we even went live, is the filming of this and how this was actually filmed. So principal photography began back on May 7th, and honestly, it's a little wild because this film was actually primarily shot using an iPhone 15 Pro Max, in addition to action cameras, drones, and other digital and film cameras. So the use of these small digital cameras actually was to hark back to the filming of the original 28 Days Later that used the Canon XL1 digital camcorder, which is a maneuverable, which was maneuverable enough. Yeah, wow, my brain has not read that word in a very long time. And I was like, what is that? There actually might be a typo in this thing that I'm reading right now. But anyway, it was maneuverable enough to film the deserted locales within the time limits allowed for like the officials and like to get the shots. So they did the same thing. I actually saw this insane fucking rig in a photo. I don't know if it's legit or not, but it was like a whole like crescent shaped rig with just a shit ton of iPhone setup. It was wild looking.
Oh, I saw that too.
That thing's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, just because we're talking about it, I both liked and disliked the filmography and the cinematography in this film. I have issues with it.
I loved it. I loved it so much. Like, those drone shots are.
Oh, the drone! No, honestly, the drone shots, fan-fucking-tastic. Really, really good.
But
go ahead.
listen, them bullet time shots why?
Those were awesome. You didn't like those? Oh, I thought they were sick. I don't know
Okay,
why.
I'll put it to you like this. I think in practice and concept, yes, but why? It took me out, honestly. Like when
Is that
people
when
got
they
shot
were
with,
getting shot and like it would then like jump?
Yeah,
yeah,
you
and
like
do
jerk.
because
Yeah.
that's I'm pretty sure what the rig was for, actually.
So
Like, why? I didn't get why that was needed.
I liked it sometimes, but I think they used it too much.
I'll tell you what I think. I only had one moment where I went, "Why?" and that was the very end. Like, well,
Well, let's say
we'll get to
that.
that
Save
later.
that, please.
I'm just saying that is the one moment where I was like, "What the is going on here?" But
So
no, dude, those kill shots, I thought they were sweet.
In again, in theory, they're like okay, not necessarily in theory. Technically, they are cool, but I don't
Maybe,
like them in the middle of this intense action
yeah,
and
maybe
stuff.
not in this movie.
It stops the momentum. Honestly, just
see,
like
I
hey,
feel
let's
I
get
like
could,
this out.
I
I see
feel
that.
like think of if we had like that cut in that edit style inside of like something more like for lack of I'm just going literally off of the first film that comes to mind, but like something like Scott Pilgrim, that like jerky those cut shots. I think it would look really, really good in how that looked. Or even though I'm gonna mention a really bad movie, Sucker Punch could have looked really fucking good with those cuts and those edits. I think
Yeah,
I think a film like this, with the rest of the way the film was edited, it kind of felt a little out of place.
Mm.
I did like it. I think it's really cool. I think maybe if they did maybe a few less, it would have been better for me. But I think the shot and the editing style is sick. I just don't think it fit perfectly with the rest of the editing style of this film.
so I don't have a problem with it, but I think my theater experience overall is different from your guys's because I went to see this with Breon and his wife Jess, and we got ScreenX tickets at MJR, and one of the projectors was down on the
Oh,
sides.
Oh
So
no.
you couldn't get the whole thing, right? And they spent way too much time trying to fix this. They paused the movie multiple times, shut these things down multiple times trying to get in a reboot to where finally they just like shut them down and they just played the movie. So I essentially was just watching it normal. So by the time we finally got there, I was like, I'm good. I'm not really losing anything anyway.
Did they give
Um,
you any like
oh yeah, I got a free ticket for sure.
okay, good, good. I would have been
Yeah,
pissed if they didn't.
but like I was already kind of like I just want to watch this, so just fucking let it play. And so
Sure,
everything
sure, sure, sure,
was
sure.
kind of Gucci from there.
okay.
But yeah, I definitely see where you guys are coming from because the first time it happened, we were like, "What the fuck was that?" And then it
Yeah,
happened again. We were like, "That's actually kind of sweet." And then yeah, it does keep going, but we were into it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. I just think it happened a little too much.
Fair.
and then like keep going with just the filmmaking in general. The editing, I genuinely hated the editing in this movie. Honestly.
Ooh, okay.
Now, Danny Boyle has a very interesting editing style. I don't get me wrong,
I
because I've
don't
seen 28
disagree
Days
with you
Later,
though.
It's pretty
and
phonetic.
I've watched Sunshine. Actually, fun fact: Sunshine is my favorite Danny Boyle movie. And there were
That's the one
moments
that
in
goes
that
to the
where, like,
sun, right?
yeah, with Cillian Murphy in it too,
Yeah,
and Chris
yeah, okay.
Evans. No,
Yeah,
that movie was stacked with cast actually.
yeah.
But so I'm aware of his style being a little different, and I liked it in those movies. What was up with this movie? Like, what were the cuts? Why did we need to see historical arrow battles?
It's to let you know that they are using old school tactics. I think
We
that was
can,
the whole point.
but we
That
can see
it,
that. We can clearly see that.
it's just to really reinforce that they've gone back to like medieval times to defend themselves. That's all, and that's I think that's what those cuts are for. Like we are teaching you ancient shit, and this is like what it looks like. I was kind of thrown off by that stuff too, but you know,
The
again,
first time it
it kind
happened,
of
I thought it was genuinely a fuck up in the final product. The very
yeah.
first cut it happened. It was weird because it's so different from the rest of the film and the way the rest of the film is actually put together and edited. Now
Well,
I
and
go
cut
ahead.
in with the shit that he's been putting in chat too. Like it's all very like this and the messaging is
Yes.
kind of weird. It's but I you know, if you get it, I think it works. And I know I don't mean it in any kind of bad way. It was like, "Oh, all
Yeah, yeah,
right, like
yeah.
I'm feeling it. I get what you're doing."
Now
He definitely tried something new. Yes.
one
Got
thing I do want to mention is I'm really am really disappointed in some of the like shot selections and choices that they used because sometimes there was too much shaky cam happening. Now I know they're filming stuff on iPhones, and I didn't know that when watching the film, and it made a lot of sense when like uh we have our young guy S- Spike. He's
Hmm.
sleeping, and we had like the fat zombie like crawling up to him, and he gets really close. There's some really bad fluttering right there. It makes sense because phones will do that when it's trying to autofocus. And now that I know that was filmed on an iPhone, that makes more sense that this was happening. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, why is there a slight flutter on his cheek? And it was the autofocus of the phone probably doing that. But in my opinion, there's some areas where shots are that were put in were so fucking shaky from going like from the ground up to them. I'm like, y'all, even with an iPhone, I could film that smoother. Like, why did it have to be so shaky? Because it takes me away from like it being like we're in the world to we're observing the world
Hmm.
because it's so shaky, if that makes sense.
That may have been the goal. I okay, so this is part one of another trilogy.
Oh
So
yeah,
Yes, it
absolutely.
is.
You can
keep
you can
that
tell with how it ends.
yeah,
We will get there.
Yep.
keep that in mind. So I think a lot of what's setting of what's shown in here is going to end up being better explained and pay off in maybe two
Sure.
and or three,
Sure.
which was kind of my whole bag going into this with a lot of the stuff. I was like, all right, I get it. But like Cillian Murphy is a producer on this. He's not in it. It's already out there. He's
Right.
going to be in the next one. It is what it is. I'm not spoiling anything. So I think a lot of that, like him being in it, whatever his character does, I think a lot of that is going to tie into some of the shit that happened in this one.
And I
Yeah,
think also
My
like
opinion.
without like spoiling what it is at the end, I think what we get at the end, like the action sequence that we get at the end, would be better filmed with the edit that we saw that I was just recently complaining about.
I
Because
can't wait to get
just because of
there.
the like I'm just gonna say briefly, those movements that happen could work really well with those crazy cuts and the like that fun like editing style they were trying to do during those like shot hits. And it's like it didn't land for me where we got them in the film.
Yeah.
hmm So, but shit,
Yeah,
what was
lead
I
off,
at?
dude.
Yeah, but just back to the whole editing thing, I just had a problem with some of the jump cuts they cut to are just
Yes.
why,
I agree
just
with
why?
you.
Like
That or
again, like
like some of the shaky cam they chose, like y'all didn't take time to get other like better
shot.
footage and like that's the shot you chose?
I could argue because I know Danny Boyle's films are very high, I guess, high energy with some of its cinematography, and that's also not really new with 28 movies, honestly. So, but at the same time, they were done in
I
other
feel like
movies that.
some of the really shaky cams were in areas that shouldn't have been a shaky cam. It was just a simple pan up to them walking by. That should not
Mhm.
have been shaky. Like you
I
just
don't
should have been
know.
on a tripod and let your tripod do its job. Even if it's on a phone, like your phone on something like this.
There you go.
Like, come on, dudes. Anyway, I digress.
But and then some, and then I get it. You're showing that they've regressed to an old time, but you really didn't have to cut to that. Honestly, like we can pick that up. We could pick that up in a damn trailer. If I'm being real, I mean not the whole opening, not the cold opening, but like establishing the colony, like the island, the town that they're living in and stuff like that. Like, no,
Mhm.
I get it. They're back on times now. So I get it, and then those cuts when they just show like the people, it's all red and everything like that was kind of interesting, but at the same time, it could have been done better.
It made me think of like a fucking fever dream.
Yep,
Yes.
especially when
Which
Spike had the
works.
dream.
I was gonna say which works with like the kind of dream stuff we heard about his Spike's mother talking about, and then we saw Spike have like it makes sense. There's thematically, I didn't hate that because I was like, this makes me feel like a fever dream. It's a little weird, but it worked because I was able to connect those themes.
And sometimes there were just so many damn cuts. I was like, I actually just having to like, wait, what's that? Okay, that's happening. Okay,
What
like,
did it feel a little
calm down.
disorienting?
Yes,
Okay.
sporadic, disorienting. Like, like that was the one thing I can just say straight up in this movie that I genuinely hate. I hate the editing. I really do.
How did you like
And it
Luke those like red nighttime shots of like the
Yeah,
animals and like the the zombies.
I didn't have a problem with it. I was taking everything in the sense that like this is just to establish shit, you know? This was all just to bring me up to speed with what the world is doing right now, where we're at with these I don't know, what this little colony has to do, this little refuge has to do to survive and all that stuff. The thing that really started to get interesting to me was when the soldiers started to show up, and then you
Hmm.
got an idea of the broader world. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, I kind of want to know more about this. I
Man,
didn't get more. That's why I was like,
that lasted not as long as I thought it was going to.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
it
So I was
really
like,
did.
all right, I'll probably get more in the next one and all that shit. But overall, I didn't have a problem with it. It was like they hunt more at night and they're taking up they're eating whatever they can find, eating these deer and shit. The
Which that
thing
makes
that
sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
fucking when the big one dunks the fucking deer head onto the tree, I was like, oh, okay, we got these things now. So like I was cool with it because it showed just like pretty much what I already knew that they fucking hunt in packs and shit. And like one, you're okay. 5 or 6, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked. Like that was the thing. And
That's
when
fair.
it went
Fair.
red, it was initially a shock, but I think it showed the violence and shit a little bit better having it in that red
See,
tint.
I didn't mind the red tint.
I
That was
didn't
never
either.
because to me that made me just that connected that like the color red and the way they did it just kind of connected me to their carnage like nature, their
Yeah,
bloodlust,
exactly.
that
Exactly.
savagery, if you will. So like that
Yep.
the coloring by no means bothered me.
Right. I took this
I
as substance over story, if that makes sense. Like
yes.
that's what this felt like to me because all the answers that I want feel as though I'm going to get later. And I can accept that if that's what happens. I will
Mm.
judge this movie more harshly if 2 and 3 don't do what I need them to do.
And that's fair. I am somebody as you guys know, I'm very much like a story driven person when it comes to my stuff. But
Oh yeah.
I cannot hate on a setup film. If I need a film to set me up and get me prepared for a even better and crazier story, I'll deal with it as long as it does its job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is very interesting because Aaron Taylor Johnson is the star of this film. He's all over the marketing. He's everywhere, and he's only in the movie for about half of it.
Not even half of it.
Yeah, not even, which is fine. I think he's great in this I really
I
like
think
him in
he
this
did a
movie. I think he's
phenomenal
awesome.
job as his
I
dad.
do too. So it is a bit of a
So good.
bummer that he gets sidelined when he does, but like he's awesome where he's in it. And you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but he's definitely going to be in the next one. And like he served his purpose, and I'm very much
Mhm.
looking forward to what happens with his character next because Spike, the little kid in this movie, is the dude that we ultimately follow. It's his movie. This kid does carry the movie.
He really
Um,
does.
He does very well for his age
does
too.
very very well, and yeah, it was fun following Spike go through the journey of growing up. Like he grows up in this 2 hour time span.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but can like, mm, mm, hmm,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, n-
Ah.
nothing. But
Real quick, real
we'll
quick,
get there. We'll
because
get there.
I'll let you guys talk about performances, but I want to bring this up. It's not too much of a spoiler, but what is the fascination now, Anthony, with pregnant zombies?
That's not a kink of mine.
But why is it now that like zombie movies have to have at least always have to have one?
Other than this and Dawn of the Dead from Zack Snyder, what other movies did that?
Army of the Dead.
Oh, I forgot about that movie. Well, okay. I mean, I have one. I have a theory about that, and this is one of the things I want them to go into with the next movies, actually,
Okay.
because the rage virus is now very interesting.
Okay, and one more thing, and maybe you have an answer, but like I'm pretty sure by the time 28 days later, we pretty much have it under wraps. We pretty much have the virus under wraps because then when 28 weeks later starts, it's definitely under wraps. But they get another little outbreak, but it's contained to London, and I'm pretty sure by the time that movie ends, it's pretty much contained. So how the fuck do we still have it 28 years later?
So my thought
Mhm.
is she was like another just a like living person who was already pregnant but got bit by one of those with the rage virus, and that's how she transitioned. Like we see happen to you see the guys from the army who were, or sorry, I believe they were actually the Navy, who was vomiting up their blood. I think the same situation happened with her. She was just a actual living person, probably more nomadic. I'm sure there's other nomadic beings out there possibly, and she fell to becoming that creature.
So I was under the impression that that was definitely the Alpha's kid, which I definitely want to talk about those after we get through this. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay, so of course it was established in the very first movie that the infected can and will die of starvation.
Mhm.
So that is what killed them in the first place. And then 28 weeks later happened, and NATO showed up. They kind of started rebuilding and everything like that until the revamp happened and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the ending of that movie established it wasn't done. Like they didn't contain it actually.
Okay.
Infected made it to Paris. They were
Okay.
running towards the Eiffel Tower, which
Right.
actually let's rewind to behind the scenes stuff because the initial idea was going to be 28 months later, but this film went under development hell for as long as it did. So now we have years later actually. But this film is saying like, okay, so we eradicated it from Central Europe, which I can imagine like again there's got to be answers that we're not getting actually because we don't know truly what happened since the ending of 28 weeks later and the beginning of this movie actually. Like again, it has been years. Like who knows how bad it got in all of Europe and at this point honestly. Like that's not told that we're not told that.
That's fair.
All we know is continental Europe was fixed, but I guess where exactly what exactly is specifically all quarantine? British Isles, apparently.
Yeah, so the British Isles would be the actual United Kingdom, Ireland, and Scotland, I believe.
Oh, that explains why there's these three races going on here.
Yes.
Especially considering when the fucking soldiers show up and they have that whole diatribe of like what's going on in the rest of the world and our delivery drivers and shit. Like, how did we get here then? So I again, that's why I'm thinking like I'm gonna get my answers later.
So, well, going back to what I was gonna say too. So, like, I can imagine if it spread to continental Europe, and who knows, it could have been a massive thing. It could have been a massive fight. Maybe the rage virus spread worse than it did the first time, because the first movie seemed strictly contained maybe to just to like Great Britain and everything like that, or United Kingdom, right? It seems like now it's a little vaster. So maybe the infected were making their quote unquote little groups and stuff like that. They have more animals to work with, and with this whole place being under quarantine, wildlife is now growing maybe because of the lack of human interference. I mean, you saw all the damn deer, so this time they have stuff to eat and everything like that, and we're still seeing evidence of some of them are starving. I mean, the one that I thought was Cillian Murphy looked terrible. But when you say how the outside world works, one thing about the 28 franchise that has been stated is it never went overseas. It never did. It only stayed in like the European regions. It never hit America, Australia, none of that stuff.
Okay, well, Sweden counts, so I'm wondering how the fucking Swedish are just seem to be chilling, But again, I'll probably get that later.
That's something else too, but I'll talk about more about my likes and dislikes about this film soon.
Very interesting, though. It's very, very interesting. So, what did you guys think of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Spike and the mom and shit and fucking Rafe? What'd you think of Baltimore?
All right.
Well,
flip a coin.
We literally share a brain cell somehow. What does the fidget spinner say?
We'll see.
I'm picking me because yes.
All right, let him go.
All right, so we've already talked about Spike, how he pretty much carries this movie and everything like that. So,
yes.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's good. He is good in this film, actually. Although that man's a dirty lying cheater. You nasty man. Well, and Jodie Comer as how do you say her name? Isla? Is that how you actually say it?
Yeah, Isla.
Isla. also is really good as well. Everyone does
Alfie
good in
Williams
the role.
is Spike's name, by the way. Alfie
Alfie
Williams.
Williams, yeah, Alfie. My bad.
Okay. All right. Nope,
Everyone
we're good.
actually does a good job in their role. Actually, like I believe them. Their performances were really great. My actual favorite character is Ralph Fiennes. Actually, he is dead ass my favorite
I
character.
fucking love you.
Hold your thought.
He,
Oh,
Let him finish.
oh no! Actually, I'm gonna let her go now because I want to hear this.
no, I just
Okay,
want to
go.
say, like,
Go.
I fucking love you because he is literally my favorite thing of this entire movie. Is Ralph Fiennes' character
By
my
the way,
favorite? Huh?
it's Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, that's how it is.
That's how you pronounce it. It's Rafe Fiennes.
My bad, Voldemort.
You fucking me up. I would have said Ralph no matter what, though, because
I
it's
got you.
spelled
Fine.
Ralph.
No.
But anyway,
I understand.
I'm gonna drop his name. This guy is Dr. Kelson, and Dr. Kelson is my favorite fucking character, my favorite whole thing of this entire movie.
Same here. I
Love you.
loved the little backstory they give him about like when they found him doing what he's doing, and he's so normal about it. And when they actually meet him, like they say, "Oh, he's gone mad. He's probably bizarre and stuff like that." Like, no, he's actually really chill, just
So
doing his own thing.
the thing of like obviously like partial like knowing what he was doing with the bodies is really intelligent and smart though, because
Mhm.
it's funny like with this when they probably saw him compared to like now, some of them actually may not have been aware and may not have really known and realized, because if you think of how old Jamie and Isla is, they were probably just like Jimmy, like a young Jimmy when they uh
It is heavily implied that Spike has like no concept of what the real world is. Like his whole life
right.
has been on
But
that
I'm
island.
just saying too
Mhm.
that Jamie and like Isla and them, like those characters were a young Jimmy. So they have a little bit of knowledge of what the world was, but they
Right.
probably because of their age, they probably don't know a lot of medical stuff either. And the fact that he's burning the bodies and taking his time to do things instead of letting them sit around and rot is actually better for them, and even
Mhm.
for the doctor himself. Like it like is he making his faux memorial thing? Yes, he is for sure. But there's
Yeah,
actually
but
like
he's
there's a bigger thing behind what he's doing than just that.
yeah, like
Mhm.
diseases and shit. Like
And no,
he's
exactly.
stopping a lot of stuff from
He's
happening. Yeah, that's
stopping
a
a
fair
lot
point. That's
like he's stopping a
good
lot of
call.
stuff that they can't think
Good
of.
call. Yeah,
Mhm.
And that
great
because
call.
of their age of when this happened, they don't actually know that information because they weren't old enough to know it yet.
So then should we take it because the beginning of the movie, it's in the trailer, watching television and the rage get in and massacre everybody except for Jimmy. Should we take that as that is 28 weeks later?
No, that's days actually.
That's
That's
days.
days. Okay.
Yes. And also, I
That's
would
how I
like to
took it.
say this movie is not scary, but that was the scariest fucking thing in this movie.
No,
Teletubbies.
that was intense. The whole thing.
No, Teletubbies. I'm talking about the damn Teletubbies. I don't like Teletubbies. I fucking hate Teletubbies.
Teletubbies are sweet.
I had one nightmare about them, and I never came back.
Fun fact: me and my coworkers at work prank each other by changing our background screens to Teletubbies. So
I
we
would
do it all
hate
the
to
time.
work with you.
I do it all the
You
time.
will
Except
not change.
I do deep cuts. I don't just do like a collage of the Teletubbies. I do. I hit
You
them
do
with the
what? You cut out
actors.
there. Oh, the actors.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You will not change my computer screen. You will not change my Jujutsu Kaisen opening or my Attack on Titan opening to a goddamn
I'm gonna
Teletubby.
change it to a big image of the baby son.
Okay, that I can handle.
The baby
All right,
son's the
cool.
best thing of it all, of Teletubbies in general.
100%.
When they went off the air, that's the best thing that happened to Teletubbies.
Yeah, but those dudes made a lot of money, so it's okay.
I don't like Teletubbies.
What an idea!
Can't hate their hustle.
Not to stay on the Teletubbies, but what fucking drugs were we on when we? I
Yes,
just want to know.
a lot.
Holy shit! But that's a great opening. Great opening to the movie.
Really, really good.
And
And
One of the bangers.
I would say they were around the same age as young Jimmy at that like Spike's parents were around the same age as young Jimmy.
Okay. But I agree with you both. Ray Fiennes in this, when he shows up, like the movie's already good, but when
So
he shows
good.
up, it goes to another level. And yeah, that whole section, it's like I almost cried. It's very good.
Can I just say though that section like with the mom, she ends up pissing me off so hard. This in if she just had a pair, this entire journey wouldn't have happened and wouldn't have been necessary.
Yeah, that does kind of take the rug out from under us for her to just be like, I didn't want to tell you. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Oh, I
you,
thought
you
someone
made it
else.
sound like you didn't fucking know.
Yeah, she's like, I had a feeling it was, and then apparently everybody else knew it was, but they just didn't want to tell the kid. Like, and how about instead of like, oh, we have a right then and there, Dad should have been like, your mother has something called cancer, and it wasn't even curable before the world ended.
Nice scene, beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like,
okay, so I was under the impression that was something that was going to lead into something with the rage virus, kind of how the
I thought
baby
so
sort
too.
of does. I thought the mom
I
was
thought so
going to be
too.
that. So I'm not mad that it isn't because it ended up being a really beautiful scene. But like,
Yeah, my
way to
first
fucking
thought,
bait me.
my first thought was like it was going to be like a mutation to the
Yeah.
virus that now is
Yes.
like you can just get it, and you had the chance of getting it.
Yeah, same thing. I thought they were going to go the Walking Dead style, where just everybody's infected.
That could,
Which
and yeah, I could
maybe
see that.
still could be the case, I guess. But that's what I thought where we were going.
But then I have so many questions about the baby. I was talking earlier how she could have been pregnant when she got infected, but there is still also the chance that she wasn't pregnant, and I don't know which it is because the doctor says, "Oh, the placenta, what a wonderful thing." It was like magic,
Magical.
yeah, what a magical thing, right? And it's like, okay, did the placenta cure the baby of rage virus? Like, is this a rage virus baby? And the placenta is what's needed to cure it? Or because the placenta is actually used in a lot of medicinal stuff. Or was she just pregnant when she got turned but because of the placenta and everything else she was able to carry on to term.
I'm thinking these zombies be boning because those
And I do
alphas
too.
are fucking beasts, dude.
They're hung,
Oh
bro.
my
They're fucking
god.
hung is what they are.
So much fucking wiener in this movie. Oh my god. And it's Screen X too. Like I didn't get the sides, but I got the giant screen. Oh, my man shows up on the horizon right there. That beautiful. What, by the way, what a fucking intimidating shot that was when the alpha shows up and just stands there. I was like, holy shit!
I love that shot. That was my
yes,
favorite
that was
shot.
such a
That
good
was
shot.
amazing.
That was
amazing.
Phenomenal
but
shot.
That immediately goes into my man doing a full sprint with the Johnson out. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
That motherfucker was running.
Yo, that would scare the fuck out of me. Like,
do you hear the footsteps too?
Yeah,
bro.
Dude,
Like, when was the last time anyone played Dead by Daylight, bro? His footsteps were like when Nemesis chases you.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god, them running through the water to try and get back to the town. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, bro.
Yeah, oh, by the way, real quick, I want to know. I'm sure we can't answer this now, but I want to know if that sky is CGI or if that's actually how fucking clear that sky is. To see the Milky Way like that, that was beautiful. To have them run when they're running through the water in that fucking night sky, that was amazing.
It depends on where they were filmed, actually.
Well, they filmed on location.
Hold on. I have the film. Hold on. I have it right here. So they filmed in Northumberland, which is a ceremonial county in northeast England that is actually on the border with Scotland. So it does look
that water bridge is legit.
Yeah, it does look to the it's bordered by the North Sea and the east. So I'm trying to see. I wouldn't be surprised because that area, it's small, so it's not going to be heavily light polluted and everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if they could have gotten shots like that, or if not, they got very, very close to, and then they did a little bit of enhancement on top of it.
See, that's where I was going. That's where I was going with. I was like, is this a place where light pollution is a thing? Actually,
I mean, there's naturally going to be light pollution, but if you look, it's not a massive area, so it could be minimal light pollution was able to enhance it a bit.
That sky though was amazing. If it's real, this movie is gonna get more points for me. If it's not, then we're just gonna stay where we're at. But what god, that was a beautiful scene to look at too. I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching this hung fucking zombie run up against this beautiful sky. That was who would have fucking thought?
Who would have thought?
I also loved how I also loved how it looked like they had like hints of like bioluminescence in the water as they ran. I thought that was sick.
Yep.
Now to also return to what we thought, I personally don't think these things are boning really.
You don't think they're boning?
I
I
could see it
don't
go
think
either
so.
way. I'm
So
either one. I'm either way.
no, for real, for real.
Cause like, cause the I don't know. We need more answers on how the rage virus works, how the placenta's gonna
Well,
protect it and stuff. Because like, I would imagine if two infected were fucking one another, I would imagine that baby was infected. But if not, maybe there's something else to it. Who knows?
dude, that's why I'm asking. What the fuck is the fascination with the pregnant zombies? Definitely, definitely
Um,
boning in Army of the Dead. Like that is
That
factual. They were boning. So I'm like, what? Why do we want these things to procreate? They're fucking zombies.
so
Go
I,
figure.
I got sorry. This is completely backtracking, but I do have an answer for you about the sky.
Okay.
oh
Is it
So
real?
it is both. It is, like I
oh
said, it is a combination of real imagery and CGI, uh,
All right.
especially in particular for actually the nighttime scenes. So what happened? The real imagery, the base of it was they actually used these beautiful panoramic night sky images that were actually captured by the United Kingdom astrophotographer Dan Monk at the
Hmm.
Keeler Forest Observatory. So they have beautiful with their observatory and their cameras and everything at the observatory, stunning photos and visuals and video of the Milky Way. And then they went and then added the visual effects layered onto it to achieve their desired cinematic look and effect.
At one point, I did notice it looked like it was green. At one point,
Hmm.
that's it. But other than
hmm.
that, like, wow, just fucking wow.
Yeah, sorry that was a backtrack from what we were talking about, but I just happened to
No, thank
find
you.
the
I
answer.
I wanted that answer. So, like I said, it's technically it is real. So it's
A
going
little bit
up.
of both. A little bit of both.
A
There you
little
go.
bit of the both. Yeah.
Yeah, pregnant zombies. I can't wait to find out on Pornhub.
Seriously, dude.
It's already there, I'm
And like
sure.
these fucking
I don't know. Let me
alphas
check.
are no joke, man. They're just straight ripping people's spines out, predator style. This
I
shit's
was thinking
intense.
Sub-Zero style.
Thank you.
See,
That works too.
the problem was for me is when they were out looting and shit, and I know it was like the mark of an alpha, and he was like, "It's an alpha, we gotta go." And I understand the fear, but I really wanted him to grab the deer head because like you could use the antlers and shit and so much stuff. And I was like, but that's good material to take back with you.
It's funny you mention that because where I'm at in One Piece has the dude with the hat that has the on it, and he's definitely stabbing people with it. And I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this, Morgan.
Antlers were also made for like you can make knives and shit out of them. And if their
No, I
stores
know.
are running low, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't be a
By the
bad
way,
idea.
what an irresponsible move by Spike. Like
Oh
I
my
get it, I
god.
get what he's doing, but dude, you just doomed everybody potentially by doing that shit.
Yeah, by
What
blowing
is
up
wrong with
their
you?
store.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my
lighting
god.
all of your supplies on fire. That's fine, bro.
Nice, real nice.
That
Also,
that first bucket throw made me laugh.
Yeah. Like
Just
I don't know what I was expecting. I don't. He's like, it's gonna take everybody. I go, why? And then I see, I was like,
yeah.
guys,
what?
I found the zombie porn.
Oh my god.
Do not show it.
I'm
Watch
not
it
gonna
later.
show it.
Watch
I
it
think I'm
later.
gonna watch it. Wait, am I? Am I just because it might be funny?
That's for you. I don't yuck anybody's yum. That's for you, Raven.
Okay.
All
Sorry.
right. So
You know me. I'm cray cray.
what? Well, where do you guys want to go next?
Well,
With
there's actually
this?
something I thought about when I was driving today, actually, about the movie as well.
Okay.
Considering what I think all three movies do very well, actually. Because I think the first one does a really good job at setting an atmosphere of emptiness and collapse. I like that Weeks shows the chaotic nature of how bad this gets, how bad this could get, actually. Because if we really think about it, in 28 Days Later, you know, you saw the cold opening where the first people got infected from the damn chimps and everything like that, but we never really saw how Britain truly like felt. I mean, we can make guesses, but Weeks showed us, oh, this is why they lost. This is why it got so bad.
Yeah, that riot and how things break down happens pretty fucking quick. Yeah.
Yep, it was bad. Like they could not tell who was infected and who was not at that point. It's like start blasting. Anyway, so I started blasting. I actually really like how in this film you get a solid look at just how people ended up adapting to life with the infected. It's a good look at showing like how things change for this specific part of the world. Actually,
I gotta say,
Yeah.
I also love the use of the the crossway, like that
Mhm.
actual like bridge and everything with the high tide. It was so smart. It was so fucking smart, and I love that they used that. That was like one little thing for me when we saw it in the film. I was like, oh, my like just like history nerd slash like geography whatever nerd in me was like, I love that choice for them. That is
Yeah, that was
phenomenal.
cool. Yep.
But yeah, but as a whole, there is one thing I just can't deny with this movie, honestly, is that it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I feel like when it's been years since we saw the last time we saw the rage virus, you would really hope you'd get more, maybe more depth on like just the rage virus and stuff like that because we learned some new stuff as well because one alphas and our thing, which I guess I don't want to say they were set up, but I think it was definitely set up to be possible when we look at 28 weeks later because look at the dad character, who I don't want to say was an alpha, but he definitely was a
Do you think he was well
uh
He
hung?
was he was a different type. Yeah, no, you're
yeah.
right. You are correct. He was a different type, and he had some other things going on with him. It's not like he could command necessarily, but he could influence for sure.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good word. That's a good
It's
way
interesting because
to.
like there's a lot of this, and especially with that, like the discussion of there being the alpha or there are alphas makes me think so much of I Am Legend and how
Yeah.
like there
Oh yeah,
is
that's
that
true.
commanding figure. Like that was a big thing like I took away from this. Like this definitely gives me like I Am Legend vibes, which also
Oh,
makes me think that there could be this emotional bit. There could be that potentially that intercourse that they are having to create children, and the placenta is the savior of the child. It is a possible thing. We don't know.
two things.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
good thing you just mentioned that because I think the fact that a pregnant zombie even let a non-infected, I just say
Yes.
like a non-infected actually help.
Mentally, there's a connection and there is an understanding. There is intelligence there. Their brains are not completely gone.
That's why I
Mhm.
think they bone him.
All right,
And
maybe you might have a
I
point
don't
there.
disagree with you. I don't
Yeah.
disagree
And
whatsoever.
and like if
And if you
that's the
think about
case,
it too, their
fine.
bodies are more withered. They're not rotting away like the other zombies that we see in this. These
Yeah.
fast
But I
ones
mean,
are they're I think their bodies are mutated, but it's almost like their bodies or something within their genealogy is something that is um could that can handle the virus, and the virus and is able to mutate and work with the virus where other people's genealogy may not be compatible if we want to get into like a
sure.
science side of it. Like it's really really intriguing.
I
Maybe.
Tyler
don't
does say in chat could be just because they're both mothers. I don't know about that one.
That's honestly, that's where I was going with it. It's just like a motherly instinct.
It
That's
could
that's where I
be,
went with
and
it.
it could
That's why I
be,
took it.
but usually to have that instinct there needs to be some form of intelligence that
Sure.
because
Yeah, which
because like for example Spike's father Jamie says in the very beginning they're brainless anyway, just kill it. They don't have
yeah.
Mhm.
their brains are gone, their soul is gone, but we're seeing it for them to have that natural instinct means there needs to be intelligence, so there
Well,
that means their brains are not fully gone, they're just different than ours.
I don't hold this against the movie, but it is like something that I've seen before. Because if anybody's seen Land of the Dead, like George Romero did this years ago, and it's not that I'm I like I said I don't hate it, but I'm kind of sick of seeing it, like the life finds a way type of thing. It just I don't know. It's I don't want to call it tropey because to me it kind of is getting to that point because I have seen it before. And like if you have not
Sure,
seen Land of the
very true.
Dead, please watch it. It's fantastic. And George Romero did this back in 2005.
Okay. Also, hold on, before we go any further with stuff, the second point I was going to make, we got to
Yes.
rewind to how things got to where we are with this whole place is quarantine. I almost forgot. Weeks later, they introduced the people who are infected, but they're not showing the symptoms. They're the carriers of the virus. That definitely could have been a factor as well.
Yeah.
So I almost forgot about. Oh, right, the carriers actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what I thought the mom was going to be.
So I guess it was then in case she doesn't have cancer.
Yeah, not mad,
Which
not mad that it wasn't, but I mean,
But
like the setup was there.
I hate how the setup was like oh yeah, I was hoping someone else would tell you. And instead of when she's like, "Wait, we're on the mainland. Oh my god. We're going to take you to a doctor, mom." Instead of her being like, "No, we need to turn back. I just have cancer. I'm going to die no matter what." Like that was your
Yeah.
moment to tell him, ma. Like
Well, I mean,
and
she's
I
also
know she
like,
was in and out of like this lucidity
yeah,
in like her mind, but
maybe
like yikes,
maybe
dude.
Alzheimer's. Like, fuck, like who knows, right? But
It
she
would
she
have
was
been
seeing some
very,
shit.
very
I
aggressive
also
at times.
thought there's
Great.
that scene when she's having a vision and like her dad is behind, see the dad's face, but he's like so fucking tall comparatively speaking. I was like, is dad an alpha? Is dad one of the fucking alphas? He's so big.
Oddly enough, I
No,
was
it's
wondering. I wonder if the guy who played the alpha just played her dad in that moment.
God,
so the thing was is in that moment, like there's another moment she was like, "Oh, how old was I? Like 7 or 8?" So every time she's thinking back to her dad is when she was a little kid and he would have been towering over her. So I guess that
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
visually makes
fair.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's fair.
Now, going back to the other aspects of this film that I gotta just bring up that's kind of low key hurting it for me too, is because I don't think it's a bad thing to make, I guess, a coming of age story in a zombie apocalypse movie. That's actually not a bad idea. But
No,
I will at least admit, after years of waiting for another 28 movie, actually, you would. I personally was, I guess, maybe more hoping for, let's actually look at how the outside world is, working while they're quarantined and stuff like that. Let's get some backstory of how we got here. Let's talk more about where the rage virus went. Now, again, it's not a bad idea to just tell a story within, like, look, it happened. Now we're just living in it. That's still a good idea at the same time, but I don't know. I thought how weeks ended. You just kind of wanted to. I think I just wanted maybe a different type of zombie 28 movie, actually, should I say?
Mhm.
Because what happened to Tammy and Andy? Because Andy was another carrier, and the
yeah,
original plan was maybe his genes were the key to finding a cure, possibly, actually,
Yeah.
too. Unfortunately,
yeah.
that went nowhere, actually, unfortunately.
Yet,
So,
yet.
yeah,
There's
not
still more
yet, not
movies.
yet. Who knows?
Now,
But
I
I agree with you
do
on that. I do agree. Also, there really aren't that many zombies age at
Yeah, that
once.
too.
There's not, and not that again, not that's a bad thing, but there's not
It,
really a whole horde going on in here.
yeah,
now
it's
I do have something I want to ask your guys' opinion on.
okay.
Now, and it has to do around like our Navy guys who
Uh huh.
because we see them patrolling
You
like
mean the
they
one?
well no the all of them
Before.
before they die.
Yeah,
Well rather the 3 that survive the one part. Anyway,
yeah.
we see them retreat. So we see them firstly on the water. Then
Hmm.
we see them on land running. They retreat into this like
Tunnel.
tunnel area. I'm not really it's some sort of
Good
access
scene.
point to something, but they make sure to close the door and it seems like that door is securely like has latching maybe with how
Hmm.
like the other with how the zombies like slammed into it and it didn't swing open. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming there is some sort of proper latching there. I don't know if it can actually lock or maybe it's just because it was an alpha it could open the door. But like, I don't know. Then apparently everything like the alpha appeared in there, but to my knowledge, my brain felt like they couldn't get in there. The zombies, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden, our lone survivor, so our one guy who survives it,
Eric.
runs out and leaves that door open. And then we find out from Eric that their ship hit something and they sank.
Hmm.
So my whole thought
Yeah,
and wondering to that is like where they at like I wouldn't be surprised if there is an access point for people of the military. Now, especially if they want to do like if they are trying to find a cure, they would need test subjects to like
Mm.
potentially test cures. Now, do we think because when he ran out, he left that door open? Do you think that's going to cause a breach somewhere for the following movies?
No idea.
Because I felt like
I
they
don't
I
at
felt
all.
like that because they made sure to hang on that door being left open. So I thought it was supposed to be something important and leading to something, but then we find out, oh, our boat sank. So
Yeah,
I
well,
like I feel conflicted about what that's supposed to mean. I was curious if you guys had any feelings about it.
I'm
my
more
only feeling.
intrigued about what sunk him.
I'm gonna say a couple things. One, that's another case of just bad editing, if you ask me. Hung on that door, nah, probably just lame editing. And two, again, it was jarring that now we're just here now to these soldiers. No setup at all. Like, nope, we're just here. I didn't like that either.
Yeah,
I
and it's
forgot.
interesting to
Yeah,
me because were in such a main part of the trailer. I thought they were going to be more important in the movie.
I thought so too. That's why I thought we was gonna get a different type of movie, actually, where we would actually look more into the outside world as well as figuring out how everything is reacting to the fact that the rage virus is still going on. But
Yeah. I was kind of shocked when they showed up. I was like, oh, you guys are out, and then they pretty much are all wiped out, except for the one. And then yeah, it goes the way that it goes. But I'm more intrigued about like what the fuck did you hit then? Like how do you not? Because the way that it's set up, they do the patrols regularly. So now why the fuck did you hit something that sunk you? What did you hit?
I don't even know if that's going to be big important, but we'll see in the next film.
Probably not. None of this is probably going to matter, but like out of the stuff that happens with them, like that's what intrigued me the most. Like what the fuck did you hit then?
Like
I got
could it have been
Alpha's out there swimming?
Because they were gone long enough. Could it have been something to do with maybe the crossway? Did they hit the crossway when it was high tide and they couldn't see it?
Potentially.
I got it. Rage virus whales.
That'd be hilarious.
I'd laugh.
That's another reason why the doctor burns the bodies. That way they can't like leak into the water or some shit and pollute the rivers and shit. I mean, but I can see it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, you thought it was going to be some kind of zombie cult. Honestly, that's what I thought was happening, and when the trailer specifically too. Now, granted, I actually like what's actually happening, like the Bone Temple. Everything else on the trailer, like there's some kind of cult going here with the zombies. Or at the end of the trailer, where that priest is like praying and shit. Like, okay, there's something going on there. But no, it was just in the beginning, like, oh, that's not a thing. But I actually like the fact that I like that the Bone Temple was a memento mori, actually, at the end of the day. Like, no, actually, I like that a little bit more. And then we get to the end, like, what the hell is going? Like, so Remick somehow.
Hold on.
Okay, wait.
Hold on, because when Jimmy shows up when he's a little kid and he has the fucking Power Ranger, I was like, bro, take that with you. Like, take it with you. First of all, I love that it's a Power Ranger, but take it with you. Whatever you're about to do. And then, sure as shit, it basically was the fucking Power Rangers. I was like, no way. That was incredible. I don't want to give it away, but like it gets a little wild there when the movie ends.
Yeah, Tyler, my thoughts and theories were also just thrown out as well with how the movie actually plays out.
And so, like, as far as you guys talk about the editing shit, like that whole sequence at the end, it's like, what did this just turn into? It's a totally different movie.
Exactly. Totally different. And I think we're gonna have, because of that, we're gonna have a major tonal shift in the next film.
Also, at least for the first like quarter, I would imagine. Yeah, like it has to now. It has to.
What was up with the people in the mask? What was that? Why? There were so many random moments. I just saw that. I'm like, what is that about?
Well, Sam
they wear the mask. They wear the mask, but they're also putting the mask on the dummies that they're shooting at, and like, yeah.
I don't know. It's very weird because Sam, the guy who was training the kids in archery, was wearing one. It was just always up on top of his head. And then you see the one girl wearing it. I thought it was just weird, like symbolism to like the zombies around and everything. Like there's a specific symbolism that I'm feeling, but I don't know how to put it into words. It was just more like a emotion or vibe I got. That like something's lurking there. And to me, like as the movie went on, I kind of always felt like, especially that one with the girl, how they're present, they're watching. The like one where like the baby, like the young fat kid zombie like ran away after the quote unquote probably parents were murdered by them. Like there's like this sentience, there's like they're lingering there, and like but there's this, it felt to me like a metaphor of like the minds and stuff. I don't know. And I could be looking really deep. I feel like I'm looking way too deep into this fucking film than I need to.
No, but I agree with you, but like that's, if I have a problem with this movie, that's it. It's like I don't like the life finds a way thing when it comes to the zombies. It's like, practically speaking, like let's be real here. If zombies were real, I personally don't think they would be that big of a deal. They would be very easy to deal with. For the most of us that don't want to actually fight the things, all we got to do is go north. There's no way they're surviving the temperatures. They'll starve out eventually, and they're gonna fucking go away. Like, I think zombies would be the easiest thing to take care of.
Our population wouldn't survive zombies though, because not everybody would go get vaccinated.
No, fair. That is fair. But as far as a problem, like the hordes would be a problem, but I don't think they'd run in. I don't think they'd have like super strength. I think they would just be shambling things that eventually over time are going to basically take care of themselves if we can't do it.
I do think they would push their bodies to like past their limits, which
Right.
could be a constitute to human strength, but it's rather their brains aren't telling them to stop.
Sure.
Mhm.
Fair.
So,
And
but it's
that, but
not
I
really superhuman strength. It's more like their bodies don't know better, so it's just gonna push until it's dead.
right. So when it comes to this aspect of like, oh, they have intelligence, to me that takes it away. It automatically makes them less scary to me, and it takes away the believability because I don't think, given the fact that they're literally brain dead, that they would be able to do this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In a practical sense, to me.
Mhm.
It doesn't work. So when I see them fucking doing the intelligence things and like the little kid shows up and they're like, no, and he goes like and tries to console like the other dead zombies, I'm just like, you're not. It doesn't work for me.
Sure.
And I see it a lot now. I see it a lot now.
One thing I think I should bring up with the fact about 28 Days, the whole franchise in general, is technically it's a zombie movie, but technically they're not zombies actually though.
Right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something I think that should be brought up as well. But still, like
Yeah.
it's a zombie movie at heart, but
There's zombie adjacent.
yeah, there
For
you
sure.
go. Like
For sure.
infection, bites, don't get in your eyes, all that good stuff. But like,
Yeah.
they're not actually dead. They're just
Yeah.
infected with something horrifyingly bad.
And this has created a whole new category of the BCC.
You kind of cut out there, so I'm not fully sure what you said.
Morgan knows what I said. What'd I say, Morgan? Your mic works.
Yeah, but now I don't know if I actually heard you because apparently you did cut out. And anytime you cut out for Dreddy, you cut
Well,
out
what
for
do you
me.
think I said? I'll tell you if you're right. What do you think I said?
I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Whatever. We got a whole new category called the BZC.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. That's all I got. I got nothing left. Whatever you guys want to do now. You want to score it?
I think we could honestly. Shit.
I'm good for scoring.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Who feels
I'll do
first?
it.
Go
Go
for
ahead.
it. I don't care.
All right, I'll do it.
I'll go
gonna
whenever
give
you.
this-
I'll go whenever you want me to go.
I probably recency bias. I'm going to give this an 8. I think it's well made. I don't have a problem with the choices. I think everything that I might be a little confused on is going to end up paying off in the next couple films. And I love the performances that everybody gives, particularly Ray Fiennes. I don't think we gave enough kudos to Alfie Williamson, for the fact that you would assume when he's acting up against Aaron Taylor Johnson or Jodie Comer that like they're carrying it, but then we follow him by himself and he still does really, really well. So that kid deserves a lot of credit.
I mean, I think that also. Sorry, this just made
Go
me
ahead.
think of this. If you don't mind me
Yeah.
adding to it,
Nope.
I agree. Alfie was phenomenal. He did so well. He's a young guy. Like he did really, really well. And I like to think now, like now that I'm thinking about it, because the Red Power Ranger is usually the leader and is usually the bravest and the most determined. And I feel like we actually, funny enough, really, really see that from this character Spike. Like he becomes a natural leader because of his father's cheating to take care of his mother. He becomes very determined. He becomes
Yes.
braver than any young kid his age should have to be because of his given situation. So it's very, very cute that actually made a larger symbolic move in the movie, and I'm very curious to see how that impacts the next one with
fucking Jimmy.
with Power Ranger wannabe Jimmy and gang.
Dude, like what the fuck?
Listen,
I loved it. I loved it. It was awesome. And I was, what did we just do here?
Listen, somehow Remick went from vampire to zombie killer.
Yeah, straight
Yep.
up. But I'm gonna give it an 8. I think this movie is great. It's good. It's really, really good.
Nice.
Oh, all right, I'll go next.
Okay.
28 years later was like one of my most anticipated movies, and I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it either. I have some issues, major issues with the editing. I have some issues with what the story was, which isn't necessarily bad, but at the same time, I think expectations had me elsewhere.
Sure.
And it had good stuff, but it also just had some stuff that was like, okay, I'm giving this movie a 6.
Okay.
All right.
So,
well,
yep.
I'm gonna follow up right in the middle of y'all. I'm a 7. So, and like, kind of similar to you, Dreaded. Like, when I left the film yesterday, like, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, but at the same time, I had some glaring issues with it. A large part of it being the editing, part of it being, Mom, the fuck, you literally just you broke me away from your story because you're like, didn't want to tell you, and I thought someone else would. Like,
You know what that reminds me of? Spider-Man 3 when the old man shows up and I'm the one that took care of your father. I didn't want to tell you. It's like you could have saved us all this fucking trouble, dude.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things where, like, I do think this is well done, but there's areas that it's cool to see that they were using these iPhones and everything else for filming, but there was areas where I think if you used a slightly better camera and then did some fun like grain adding and adjustments in the editing side, you could have made some shots look better than what they actually were. We could have gotten rid of shaky cam, or maybe, I know you filmed that shot at least a few times. Is that really your best shot? Is all of that shake when it's supposed to be from a sitting like downward position that just pans up to people walking? Should not be like all of a sudden I need to pan up, all of a sudden it's like blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, bruh. Come on.
Yo, you think that's fucking bad? You should watch the movie Havoc on Netflix. Oh my god. And I love that director. Holy fuck. That's our boy that did The Raid. And that's shaky cam every fucking scene, regardless. So
see,
yeah,
like, I do think there is good use of shaky cam, and then you're just doing shaky cam to have shaky cam, and y'all need to stop.
Pretty much.
But for that, like, I think, like, I do like our actors. I think the actors we had and the actresses we had did a phenomenal job. I do like a bit of like the world setup we get. I really like. I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this because the entire time leading up to this, I was hoping to rewatch 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later because I genuinely just don't really remember them because I watched them basically when they came out with my dad, and I haven't seen them since. But I just didn't get a chance to. But with what I've seen so far, I really, really wish that I like what I got. It's not what I was expecting to get, but I also didn't go in expecting anything specific anyway, because I couldn't remember the other films very well. But most of the reason why it's not higher than a 7 is because of like the editing and the filmmaking choices. Though areas and some things were really cool, I think they could have done better with other equipment. They could have done better with a slightly different choice of editing, or they could have saved some of the weird editing that is so cool, maybe for that end scene, or just not use it at all, or use it a lot less.
There you go.
We all agree, though, this is not a bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie.
I just had bigger expectations for the 28 movies.
Fair. And like I said, this will go up or down depending on what comes next.
There you go. We'll see. Let's see if it pulls a Blumhouse Halloween trilogy.
I love Halloween Kills because Michael actually like rampages.
Yeah,
that's badass. So
Halloween. I think we're the only two people who really actually fuck with Halloween Kills.
Honestly, yeah. I watched that with Breon, and he was like, "Oh, it's Michael."
So he just say it again. You were cutting out.
Oh, I watched Halloween Kills with Breon, and he described Michael Myers in there as Michael Myers in a Hellcat. He just is wasting people left and right, and I was like, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's perfect.
Which one was Halloween Kills? Hold on.
It was the one in that trilogy.
The one where the lady was shooting him with the gun, then he kicked the door, and then she shot herself in the head by accident.
Oh my god, that's right. Okay,
that's fucking hilarious, dude.
I know, right? All right.
Yeah, that was fun. This is a good one.
Yes, it was. I wonder, when the zombie apocalypse happens, what kind of zombie apocalypse are we getting? Because you know what? I am ready for the damn apocalypse.
I'm anticipating it's going to be more Night of the Living Dead than it's going to be Army of the Dead.
Probably. I just hope for no I Am Legend. I don't want to deal with Dark Tears, but no worries. I got everything I need in my hands, ready to fight the damn zombies.
Well, those are supposed to be vampires anyway.
That is true.
Technically, yeah.
Yep.
And I am cool with the zombie apocalypse, but if I see one more pregnant zombie, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Unless there's good reason for it.
There is no good reason. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
What about if she's pregnant, then she gets turned when she was pregnant?
I mean, that's a little bit different, I suppose. But you heard what I stand by what I said, okay? You logic post. I stand by it. I will lose my shit if I see another fucking pregnant zombie.
There you go.
All right, I'm good.
All right, everybody. We are the Wannabes Podcast. I'm Morgan, that's Luke, and that's Dreaded. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our movie review of none other than 28 Years Later. So you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. You can also go to LinkedIn. I might have forgot one. I'm sorry. But go over there, follow us.
I am also prepared.
Give us a follow. You can look up Wannabes Podcast or Podcast Wanna, and
This
we
thing
will
is
show
heavy
up.
as fuck. This right here is enough. This right here is plenty. That thing's
He's thinking
heavy.
about killing zombies, guys, if you can't tell. But
Well, he pulled out his weapon of choice. You know, the zombies out their fucking weapons all day. Why can't I?
There we go.
No,
So come on,
you're
zombies. What apocalypse are we dealing with? What damn zombies do we have to deal with today, huh? What we got? What you got for me?
So much zombie wiener.
Yeah.
So much.
If you're watching
God.
right now over on YouTube, please head over to Twitch and hit that heart. Give us a follow on Twitch. If you're here on Twitch, head on over to YouTube, like our video, subscribe to us over there. That way we can continue to grow. You also can find us on Spotify, everybody. And then lastly, we do have our merch store, which is available for you in chat through the link. Because we got goodies over there.
We got
All
the
right.
goodies.
Yeah, all the goodies. But for now, guys, Luke's Film, Crawl Spaces in production. Go follow them on Instagram.
Yeah, it is.
We are posting. Good shit is coming. It is very exciting. We cannot wait to share more stuff as it comes. But for now, y'all have a fantastic night. We will catch you next time. And you better not forget the popcorn next time, y'all. We will be off next week on Wednesday, so we can go see Jurassic World on Wednesday night, opening night. Because a certain man called his boss, whom is me. So just there is no show next week, but we're gonna be watching the new Jurassic World. What is the full name? I'm literally drawing a blank right now.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Rebirth. We're gonna be watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and then we're gonna be reviewing it. So stay tuned to our socials so you know when we're gonna be live and reviewing it. But guys, we love you. We'll leave you. And we'll catch you next time. Have a good night, everybody. See ya.
Later.